days when we used to wake up at 5 in the morning, go to his institution, go to the school, music school by 6. And from 6 to 12, it's a 6 hour vocal marathon. I think 10 days from doing that, we both got a call from Kiravani, who is the music composer of Bahubali. There were highs and lows, there were peaks and valleys as usual. There were days when I was very busy with work, I was earning and all of it, but there was also lull periods where there was no work. Like, that is the most challenging part in my journey, how to transfer all of that experience and show that I have skills to be here.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Harne Podcast. We have a very special guest today. She is somebody who has switched her careers dramatically. She used to be a very successful singer in the Telugu film industry and has lent her voice for blockbuster films such as Bahubali, but is now working as a product manager in Toronto. She is none other than Mounima Chandrabhatla. Now, why did she make this career switch? How was she able to do it? What are her future plans? And what can we learn from her journey? Mounima tells it all on this episode. If you are somebody new to this channel, please consider subscribing, like this video, and leave us a comment down below. Now sit back and enjoy this conversation with Mounima. Hi, hello Mounima. Welcome to the Harne Podcast. Thank you so much for giving us your time today.
Hi, Raghav. Thank you so much for having me. It's really exciting. I know you spoke with me before you started this podcast that you want to create this platform for other people who are coming into the world of MBA. So I'm really happy you started, and I'm really happy to be here on your podcast.
I remember you were helpful as always. You gave me some good tips on how to start this podcast, and here we are today. So thank you again for that.
God, it's my pleasure.
All right, let's start this because most of people know who you are, but for the small minority who don't, please start by introducing yourself.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah.
Hi everyone. People who do not know me, I am Mounima. I am from India. My pronouns are she and her. I am a South Indian. I'm from Hyderabad. I was born and brought up there. All my life I've been in Hyderabad, but now I've relocated to Toronto. Right now I'm working as a product manager at iHeartRadio, which is managed by Bell Media here in Toronto. I'm an MBA graduate. We all are from same cohort, me, Raghav, and a lot of our batchmates. I'm really fortunate to meet this wonderful cohort during my MBA journey back in India. So that's a little bit about me. Before coming to Toronto, I worked predominantly in the Indian music and film industry, especially, the Telugu music industry. I worked as a playback singer for 6 to 7 years. So playback singing, I'm sure you all know, it's singing for films. While doing that, I was actually very intrigued to learn more about the business aspect of the industry, of the entertainment industry. And I've always wanted to learn about business in general. So that's why I took the step to do an MBA. That was a very, very bold move, I guess, in according to me, because nobody saw it coming, even not even me. So yeah, I think that's a bit about me. Yep.
You are humble as always because I remember first day in the class
Yeah.
when Sanjay Dhingra introduced the various people and he said, we have someone who has lent her voice for the movie Bahubali. And then he announced your name and I was in shock. And I was like, man, this girl has no air about being a celebrity. People get arrogant and they have some tantrums if they become a celebrity. You were so down to earth and so humble. So let me start by asking you, how is it that you have not allowed this fame to go to your head?
Oh my God, that's a good question. I've never, accounted myself as a celebrity. Whenever people call me that, the imposter syndrome kicks in and I really cannot accept it because, as you said, um, It's probably um, because I'm a very simple person and I do not like labels like that. Because it's a lot of pressure. That's what I feel. It's very hard to live up to those expectations. So yeah, I never accounted myself. Maybe, people do, a small number of people do recognize, especially Telugu people, when I go outside, and all of it. So I can say I'm a very like small size, a known person, a little bit of popular person, that too because of the tag Bahubali that I have. Yeah, I think other than that, yeah, I never allowed that to get into my head. Not even for a bit. Never.
Yeah, I can see that's not working even now. Even now, you're not ready to accept that you are a celebrity and you are popular. I checked just before having this podcast, you have some 50.9K followers on Instagram. So I mean, it's people have 3K, 4K followers, and they start to think of themselves as influencers or celebrities. But even after having such a massive fan following, it has not gone to your head. So that is something I find really admirable.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Raghav. That means a lot.
Thank you. No, it's all very true. But please tell us about your educational background. Like when you were training to be a singer, I see you also have a degree in commerce in your undergraduate before you pursued your MBA.
Yeah.
So you had that as a backup, or what was your thought process behind that?
So um, I have basically, when I was doing my 11th and 12th intermediate in the Indian educational system, I participated in this regional reality show, TV show. It's like a singing competition, like Indian Idol, but something which is just confined to Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, called Paduta Tiyaga. So I actually wanted to become a doctor, and I took BIPC
Oh,
as my group during intermediate. But then, they called in for auditions for this show, and my mom was like, maybe you should participate. You're falling in that age group. And then I did try, and I got selected. And then rest after that, everything is history, because no, by PC, I didn't give my MSET or anything for that. And then I finally finished, shooting and participating in that show. I was a semi-finalist. And after that, then my mom was like, see, I think you have some scope here to become a singer, and, do this as a profession, as a career. She's always been supportive like that, because she always wanted to be in show business. She loves all of this stuff, this industry. So she encouraged me a lot, and she was like, go for something very simple, for studies. And then I remember going to a degree college back in Hyderabad, and they gave me the admission immediately. So I've done bachelor's in commerce back then, but then it was a 3-year degree course, and I actually did not focus much on singing during that time. I was into studies. I was also roaming a lot. Friends, bunking classes and all of it, like any student or any naughty, a person would do. I
oh.
was all of that. But after I finished my degree undergrad, I I was like, I realized what I was missing all those 3 years. So then again, I went in touch with my singing roots. I started practicing, going for classes. Um, and that's all. Since then, I worked professionally as a singer. And then, as I said in my introduction, finally I decided one day, I was like, okay, let me try applying to an MBA school. And then I did my research, and I had to figure out what I wanted to get out of MBA. So I looked for schools that give specialization in arts, media, and entertainment, because I wanted that niche to be there for me. Because I've always been in the industry, so I didn't want to move industries. That was out of question. So I wanted to be in the industry, but explore a little bit more other than the creative side, other than the artsy side of things. So that's the educational journey till MBA. That's
Yeah,
all.
and we will go about why you decided to pursue an MBA from Schulich and Canada later. But for
Okay.
now, let me talk about your singing days. So you said that you participated in a reality show from
Mhm.
where you decided then to pursue your BCom, and then you said that no, let me pursue singing as a career before you decided to do your MBA. So people see this final stage usually, that okay, now you have reached success and you have so many followers and you are getting that fame, but behind that success, can you talk about the journey behind that success? Like, how many sacrifices have you had to make in order to reach where you are right now? So like, let me be more specific. What was your day to day? How many hours you used to practice? What
Uh,
was the day like on a
okay.
normal day when you were not shooting? What was that day?
Yeah, for sure. I would love to answer that because I remember doing extensive vocal practicing back in the day when I was like, okay, what am I doing with my life? Why am I wasting all these years? When I decided to get in touch with my singing again, I joined classes near Dr. Vaijarsu Balasubramaniam Garu in Hyderabad. He's a very renowned Carnatic teacher in Hyderabad. So he actually played a very big role in my learning journey of music, Carnatic music. He used to, motivate me and my sister a lot. And there were days when we used to wake up at 5 in the morning, go to his institution, go to the school, music school by 6. And from 6 to 12, it's a 6 hour vocal marathon. Yeah, we used to take one room each. There were other students who also came in, so it was like a challenge he put us through. I still remember that. So we used to take like a half an hour break in between around 9, just to have some breakfast and then to have some tea or coffee. But then it was from 6 a.m. to 12 p.m., and then I used to go back home, have my lunch, take rest, and then again try listening to some movie songs, or try to learn some songs, or record something, or stuff like that. So this was a phase I actually seriously practiced a lot, because vocal cords is also like an instrument. This is our instrument for singers. So we have to strengthen it. They have to grow resilient. It's just like, bodybuilding, right? I know you're you're into bodybuilding and you're into fitness. So it's just like fitness. For it to be fit, it was very imperative for us to practice every day. But now I don't do so. Please do not ask me what I'm doing now. So this was my day to day. And then if I have a recording, I used to schedule it during the afternoon a little bit, because I have to do the 6 to 12 p.m. thing. But some days there will be like full call sheets for a recording, so from 9 to 5 or from 9 to 9. So during those days, you just have to go to work. Yeah, so it's, as an art, for any artist or any singer, the schedule is very inconsistent. It's not like a set schedule. I used to try to have like a set schedule, but that doesn't work, because you never know who calls you for a recording, where you get the work from, what project director wants some voice for tomorrow shooting the song. So it was very uncertain, but I used to enjoy it. It was very surprising also, right? That surprise element is always there. So that, yeah, I think that's how we used to work.
And how long did that phase last for? Like, you used to practice this hard for how many years?
Oh, not years. I think just a few months. And then, as I said, when I got little busy with the shows, traveling, more recordings, more call sheets and stuff. So you don't really get that 6 hour extensive time for yourself to practice. So during those days, there used to be like crash practice sessions, short practice sessions, maybe after waking up in the morning, after a cup of tea, for like about 40 to 50 minutes, and then go for work. do it and come back. And some days, there are days where you don't even get a chance to practice. Your body is too tired, your mind is so tired, and you just need to take a break. So there were days like that as well. So yeah, that was pretty much what or how I used to do it.
Yeah, I think you're underselling yourself again over there, because even when you're performing, you are singing. So your
Oh yeah,
vocal cords are getting that practice even when you are singing
yeah.
professionally, right?
You
So
know,
yeah, and
you
mhm.
should, if there's an award for someone who undersells themselves, you should probably give that award to me because I just, I always undersell, and I'm really trying hard, working on it to not do it. But I don't know why I do it. Just being honest.
Can you like talk about, like, before you participated in that reality show, did you take any music lessons before that?
Yeah, I used to go to music lessons every Sunday.
Mhm.
There's this academy called Little Musicians Academy in Hyderabad, which is very, very, very popular, which is led by K. Ramachari sir. So he teaches for free. So it's
Oh.
just on Sundays, and he teaches for free. There's like batches. So I used to go to his classes, and then before the competition, when I decided to sing few certain songs in the competition or for the audition, I had a special teacher, like a tutor, who taught me the song from note to note, correct me here and there. Yeah, it's like that. See, like parents send their kids to this IIT special
Yeah.
coaching and stuff like that, right? It was very similar to that before taking the competition. I had few sessions like that with a private vocal tutor. So that really helped. And even during the episodes of the competition, they used to give us what song I need to sing in the episode. So again, I used to extensively practice. During my elimination during semifinals, I actually, because of over practice, I got something called vocal nodules. So
Oh.
you get something, like something protrudes from your vocal cords because of over practice. I actually over practiced, and that wasn't good for me at all. And I lost my voice. And then,
Oh,
yeah, I lost my. It's a very interesting story. It's a very
please.
depressing story as well.
Yes. That's
Uh,
fine, because I want to tell people about the sacrifices and the hard work you have to put in. So please.
I think most of the sacrifices and hard work was put in by my mom. I would like to give credit to her here, because she's the person who made the most sacrifices. She took both me and my sister. She took both of her daughters, and she was the one who actually initiated moving from a small town to Hyderabad just to get us music lessons, and get us into this industry and all of it. So and she always lived away from my father. They both always lived apart. My father used to work somewhere, and she was like, no, I can't live with my kids here. They need to have a good career, and good lessons and education. So I'm going to Hyderabad taking them. So I think those were the sacrifices they made for us. But as far as I know, I think they've given everything to us and all of it. So more than me, I think it's my mom who made the most sacrifice. So that's something I would like to say.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And now let us talk about the first break you got in the Telugu film industry. So how did you get that?
Okay, that's a very common question I get. Even in my interviews on YouTube that you have watched, this is probably the first question they ask. So back in the day, me and my sister, we used to practice a lot and all of it. And then one day we were like, let's record some demos and try to give to music composers here in Hyderabad. So we recorded a couple of demos, like where we could showcase our versatility, like singing a melody, singing like a Western song, a classical. So we took a set of songs and we recorded, and we actually gave those CDs. We went to different music composers, and we gave those CDs to their managers and directly to few of them. And then one fine day, I think 10 days from doing that, we both got a call from Kiravani, who is the music composer of Bahubali, the legendary music director in Telugu. So we got a call from his manager. His name is Basha. We call him Basha sir. So Basha sir called us, and he was like, he told us few dates, and he was like, you have call sheets from 9 to 9, or I don't remember exactly, but he was like, you have a schedule, sir wants you to join his team. We were so happy, and we were like, we didn't expect it to turn out like that so quickly. We didn't expect any call that quickly, and finally we went for those recordings, and it was for a very small movie, a Telugu movie. And I think we worked about 30 to 40 days for that movie, and I remember taking a good amount of money for that 40-day work. And I was literally like, wow, this is literally our first income, official income. And I was so happy. After that, they called us for another schedule, and they were like, you come to Ramoji Film City, you'll get a car by 7 o'clock in the morning, be ready by 7. The car will pick you up and take you to Ramoji Film City. We were like, Ramoji Film City? Okay, good. Like, in the name of work, we are getting to go visit Ramoji Film City also. So we were very happy. And there's actually a studio there in Film City called Symphony. And as soon as we entered the studio, sir was sitting there, and there were a couple of other singers as well. And he started dictating some notes and what we have to sing, some lyric and all. And we wrote down, we did not even expect in our wildest dreams that it is for the film Bahubali. We were very casual. Ignorance is bliss, right? So we were so like jolly and all, and then after we learned what to sing, he was like, go inside and record now. So we went inside, and then as soon as we saw on the screen, it's Bahubali picture, the footage. And we were so surprised. We were like, what is going on? Are we working for Bahubali? Because we did manifest working for that film. We were like, you know what, I mean, I remember having this conversation with my sister. We both were like, you know what, we'll be very fortunate if we get to sing at least one humming or one alap in the behind during the re-recording of such film. And then we ended up having main songs in the film. So probably it's just pure manifestation. We both got our first opportunity in Bahubali. Yeah.
Oh, that's a wonderful, wonderful story. And moving on now, Mounima, from there, your career was peaking. You were making good money. You were getting that dream opportunity of singing in Bahubali movies. Why then did you pursue an MBA? Like at this stage, why MBA?
That was my first interview question at Schulich. Oh, okay. This is also a question I get a lot, because it's a very strange path, right? That's a very strange turn in my career. So basically, I've done it. I've done that for like 6 to 7 years. It was fine. There were highs and lows. There were peaks and valleys as usual. There were days when I was very busy with work. I was earning and all of it, but there was also lull periods where there was no work, and it's a very inconsistent field, I must say. And I realized slowly, when I got in touch with myself, my inner self, and all of it, when I started exploring myself, what I like, and all of that, I understood that maybe I need a little more sustainable career. Uh, don't get me wrong, it can be sustainable for a lot of other people, but for me, it wasn't. As I said, it would peak few times and it would go very dull few times, and that used to give me a lot of anxiety, a lot of it's like, okay, what next? Now I've done this US tour. After, I always used to get sad on the last day of my show in the US, because I know tomorrow I'm going to get on flight to India, and I'll have to face this question: what next? After I deal with the jet lag, what next? What should I do? So it was very competitive. I mean, the field I am in right now is also competitive, but I thought I'm not so cut out for that kind of environment there. So that's why I was like, okay, let me try to learn about business, because I had zero knowledge about business. I'm telling you, because all my life I've just been singing and watching films. Uh, I did not invest any time in learning and all of it. So it was actually a very big risky move. I was like, okay, but I was also comfortable at one point. I became too comfortable, and I was like, I didn't see any more growth there for myself. So I was like, it's time to get out of my comfort zone and take that risk. So that's why I did
Yeah.
it.
And kudos to you for doing that. As you said, it's a very bold and risky move. My
Thank
next question to you is, like, you did this for 6 to 7 years. So for all the artists listening, how were you able to portray this as a work experience during your MBA? Because during, the MBA candidates usually have work experience working for an IT company
Yeah,
or some in a
consulting
business
company.
company.
Yeah.
So how were you able to portray your experience as a valid work experience for
Oh
MBA?
my God, that is the most challenging part in my journey, how to transfer all of that experience and show that I have skills to be here, right? Even getting a job also, because after MBA, after I graduated, I still did not have any experience as you guys have, right, in the past. So I really had to work really hard to transfer all those skills and make my story, tell a story to them. So how I did it, I kept it very simple and authentic. First thing, I told during my Schulich interview, I told what I did, that I was a singer and all of it. And then I also did some work apart from singing back then, which is similar to project management, like handling a music video, executing a music video or stuff like that. So I I was an executive producer for a couple of music videos back then. I also did my sister's marketing for one of her EPs, for one of her albums. So, though we often do not recognize all of this work, and we don't consider, but actually then when I had to go back into my previous experience, dig a little bit and try to put the MBA terms to all of that work, like project management, as I said, and then marketing, executive, like all the social media campaigning and all of it. It comes under marketing, right? So I had to say I also did some marketing and all of that stuff. So to grasp that and to actually understand all of that was a little bit challenging. It took time for me, but I'm glad I could do it. Even while singing, one of the biggest skill a singer can have is to be in a very harmonious manner. It's so you should be a team player if you're singing in a group, right? So that was something. Yeah, I remember that now. I also said this in one of my interviews. I'm like, I'm a great team player because all of that, because I've done all of that. Yeah, so yeah, that's how I did it.
Yeah, that's very insightful, especially for some listeners who are artists and are thinking about taking this journey. So thank you so much for that answer. Now, once you got an admission into MBA, how difficult was it to study again? Because you must have had subjects like economics and
Oh, wow.
accounting
Finance.
and finance. So how did you manage those subjects?
That's a very good question again. So when I joined Schulich, I still remember the first day, Raghav, when I entered Schulich campus and everybody was sitting in the cafeteria. They asked us to pick some chocolate, and they made teams who picked the same category of chocolate, right? So I felt so nervous because I knew I was a very I was coming from a very diverse background, and I didn't have any prior experience, as you said. I didn't do a job. So in the first few days, it has been really challenging. But I think they started off our MBA journey with leadership course, which helped me a lot to set a pace, because leadership course is for everyone, right? Even during my singing days, probably there were instances where I acted as a leader. I led something, group, or coordinating something or stuff like that. So that was a very relatable topic for me. I did take my readings very seriously, and I've already done accounting during my BCom, so accounting wasn't a challenge for me. The most difficult subject for me was the information technology, some course related to data. uh,
Mhm.
it was a 1.5 credit course, but still, I had
Mm.
the most miserable time of my life during that group assignment. But otherwise, marketing I enjoyed because it's again very creative course, right? Marketing is very creative. That's what I feel. And Yeah, some days, some courses, they were difficult, but some courses were very like, okay, this is probably for me, I can feel it. But the core subjects, as you said, they few were challenging, few were very interesting. That's what I thought. But then at the end of the day, I think we all managed.
Yeah, we all did. And because I asked you this question specifically because for somebody who comes from a non-traditional background of engineering or commerce, they should hear that it's not impossible to study these courses. You be thorough with your readings and you pay attention in the class, you will definitely pass. So thank you so much for sharing that.
No
So
problem.
after MBA Mounima, you had a bit of an experience in project management, as you said earlier. Why did you then choose product manager to go into product management?
Okay,
And
then.
and again, how did you answered this before, but for a job interview, how did you showcase your previous skills that they are relevant and transferable into the job of a product manager?
Yeah, okay, that's a good question. So during COVID, I actually had a lot of time on my hands to, uh, assimilate whatever I learned in my first 2 semesters. And then I actually started a small startup with my sister during that lockdown period. And all, I was still waiting for my visa anyway. So I was waiting, and we started something called Merch Better. Um, so that experience, that much starting much better, actually taught me a lot than the MBA, than in the classroom. Obviously, I was trying to apply whatever concepts I learned in the classroom into my business then and there. So it was really like a practical lab for me, working on much better. I still remember doing the business canvas model for much better. When the idea was formed, I was like, okay, let me do business canvas model. Theo taught us. Theo or Ashwin. Someone
It was
taught
Ashwin Joshi, Professor Ashwin
Ashwin,
Joshi.
Ashwin Joshi, Professor Ashwin. So those frameworks I learned, I'm really happy that I actually applied them in my startup thing. So they are all very, I'm very like little bit. I can say I'm a little bit well versed with all those frameworks. It did not let me forget, because I had to apply them immediately into my business. So um, probably that is the most talked topic for me during the interviews. I also showcased a few of my projects that we did, and showcased what kind of challenges we faced and how we had to adapt ourselves because of COVID, because of all these virtual challenges we had. Because I remember we had planned like a grand launch for my sister's EP, and then the lockdown started. So one of the questions I had in my interviews for Bell was, describe a situation where you had to, you know, handle a challenge spontaneously. And then this was one of the stories I told them. So we all have stories. We all did some very good quality work. It is really honestly up to us how we narrate it, right? How authentically you tell your story. I think that's what I tried to crack, and probably I did. I still, there's a long way to go. So that's how it happened. I forgot your question. I think I'm digressing a lot.
No, no, no. It was fine. I asked you regarding how were you able to show transferable skills for
Yeah.
product management, and why did you choose to pursue product management instead
Yes.
of project management, which is something you had done earlier?
Okay.
So, yeah.
Just to add a little bit to that. So Much Better is all about product. It's merchandise. We have to design the product, we have to have a roadmap, and we have to launch the product. The only difference from what I do now and the Much Better is, now I'm doing it in a tech field. Much Better is it's a retail field,
Yeah.
so that's the only difference. So I basically talked about all this. I knew the interview was the role was for a tech product role, but then I was like, I know that, but this is the experience I have in the retail product, and this is what we have done. We've done the roadmaps, blah blah blah, and quality check and all of it. So I think Much Better helped me put my story together and transfer what I've done, transfer all those skills that are required to do here. Even a little bit of data analysis, marketing work, and surveys. So before doing Much Better, we also did some surveys, our market research, and all of it. So I've which is again heart of product management, how we measured a few product performances and all of that. So all I highlighted was how we measured success at Much Better, market research at Much Better, and product roadmap and product ideation and formation. So I think these three are the heart or the core of product management, and I was able to talk about them because of Much Better. So that's how I entered into PM.
Yeah, and I mean, that makes perfect sense because you have already done something with your startup and you had to just do it in a different space, in a tech space instead of a retail space. So your transition makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
So now let us talk a little bit about networking, because I imagine it would have been very different from you. Being popular in India, you would not have had to struggle so much to find work. But here in Canada, I imagine not a lot of people know you. And when you are applying for jobs, I mean, like, it's very different, right? Because you are starting from scratch again.
Yeah.
You are a new beginner. You are a newcomer. So how was that experience, and how were you able to crack networking?
Okay. Networking was something I dreaded doing. I think most of us did, because I never enjoyed it, but I knew it is like the holy grail of getting your first job in Canada. I think they made it very clear back in India also. People coming from CDC to India and talking about networking, LinkedIn, setting up your LinkedIn and all of it. So I wasn't enjoying it, but I knew it was very important. So um, for especially for job search, during job search, there was a phase where I randomly applied for every role I've seen on LinkedIn or Indeed, or anywhere. But then I understood that it doesn't make sense to just randomly apply. If you want a particular role in a particular company, there should be a strategy to actually land in that role. So I am very happy I realized it way early about this. And then there were few roles where I was really interested and really wanted to interview for them. So for those roles, I did reached out to few people from that company, at least minimum one or maximum 2 to 3 people, have coffee chats, ask your questions about resume, interview, how do you transfer your skills, or all these general questions about their journey and about the company's culture and all of it. So that's how I have done. I think even for the role I'm doing right now, the job I have right now, can you believe I networked because of a Schulich assignment for this role.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah. So I'm really grateful to Schulich for this, or to this course. Probably it's called Digital Media Transformation. I don't remember the course number, but it was taught by Patrick Patch. It's an arts and media subject, and we had this assignment called Adopt an Executive, where we are tied up with one exec from the industry, and we get 2 hours with that exec to interview them, 2 separate hours, interview them and write 2 papers. So my exec was our our VP of digital product, Barbara. So she was my exec. I'm really fortunate to have that 2 quality hours with her, and talk to her about Bell, about everything, ask her questions and write my papers. So the thing that worked out a lot for me here was, I knew a lot about Bell because of this 2 hours before the interview, right? I knew a lot about their challenges, their strategy, what they're going to do, and all of it. And then that after those 2 hours, I actually understood that probably I like product management. That was also one of the reasons I was like, let me explore product management a little bit more. So that assignment really helped me gather my thoughts and understand what I want to do. And that's how it happened. Then when I saw the role opening, I obviously reached out to Barb, and I asked her if she could, put a word or something internally, and I think she did. That's why my interview got scheduled. But then after that, until then, it's fine. You have that first important step, that referral step, which was sorted. But then interview again was crazy. It was a very long process, and they interviewed me for like anybody else. They interviewed me like how they would interview anyone else. So
Yep.
it was like that. I remember I went to the US for doing a show, and in the night I was actually sitting in the hotel room and doing my video assessment after the show or something. Yeah,
Oh, wow.
month of May, in the month in the month of May that happened. So that's how it happened. So what I want to say here is, do not take any assignment for granted.
You never know.
You never know what's going to translate into what later. So just be committed to everything you're doing at Schulich, especially if you have chance to work with someone outside Schulich, with some on-site project or something, please do it with some commitment and conviction, because I know people at Schulich, they tend to not do it, or not be committed. But that's one of the suggestions I have, though.
And that's very important. It's very important to give it 100%. Whatever assignment you're taking or course you're taking, please give it your best shot, because you never know what might actually work out for you in the future.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, Mounima, now let's talk about what's in the future for you. You've done singing. You've started your own company. You had a startup. Now you are a product manager. What's next?
Uh, I'm just going to go work really hard and go ahead with my business much better, and even in the field of product management. Someday, it might sound ambitious, and that's okay. I'm really ambitious.
And it should. Yeah.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. So someday I really want to head like a product team at the intersection of music and tech. That's where my passion lies. And apart from that, I also want much better to have brand partnerships with companies like Spotify, Amazon, because they are all getting into artist merchandise slowly. They are facilitating that platform for DIY artists to make and sell their merchandise. Amazon Music has already started doing it. So I could see a lot of potential there. So that's something I want to do for Merch Better. I really want to do some very interesting projects in 2023. And then by 2024 or 25, I would want to have our very first brand partnership with these music tech giants. That's all I can say for now. I don't know. I can't see beyond that. I have to first achieve these things by
Yeah,
20.
and I'm sure you will. And I think that's a good note to end this podcast. Thank you so much, Mounima. You provided some wonderful insights, and I hope wish you all the best for your ventures. And I hope the goals you've set for yourself come true very soon. And you will join us again for another episode.
Oh my God, thank you so much. I've done this after a very long time, honestly. It's been more than 2 or 3 years, probably, talking as a guest with someone. And you've asked me some wonderful questions. Thank you so much for giving me opportunity to dig all those memories. Yeah.
My pleasure.
Yeah, thank you so much. I wish you and your podcast a very, very, very good luck. And
Thank you.
you're doing wonderful. Yeah, that's all.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mounima. And that was the episode for today. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe to the channel, press the like button, and leave us a comment down below. Until the next time, this is me, Raghavendra Harne, signing off. Take care.